Hi everybody, we are going to do Module 3, Lesson 4, adding fractions with sums between 1 and 2. Let's go ahead and get started. So just a quick review of Lesson 3. We were adding fractions and we needed to find like units in order to do that. In this problem, we're adding 1/3 plus 3/4. So in this box, we've got our 1/3 shaded, and in this box, we've got our 1/4 shaded. We need to go ahead and create like units. We can't add fractions with different size units. We need to make the units the same size. So how could we divide this up? We could make both of them into 12ths. 3 goes into 12, 4 goes into 12. That'll work. So let's go ahead and divide up the 1/3, turn it into 12ths. So we're basically multiplying that by 4. And now we have 4 12ths. And then with our 1/4, we're going to multiply that by 3. And now we have 3 12ths that we're going to add. Add them together. 4 plus 3 is 7. And then we've got 12ths. So 1/3 plus 1/4 equals 7 12ths. One thing you'll notice about that last answer that we got, the answer was 7 12ths. And if we were to look at it on this square here, you'll notice we can fit it all into one whole. This whole thing is 1. But what happens if we add fractions and we end up with an answer greater than 1? Let's find out. So for this problem, we're going to try adding 4/5 plus 1/2. So I'm going to go ahead and shade in our 4/5 so we can see what we're working with. And then I will also shade in our 1/2. Just like the other problems, we need to have like units. We cannot add fifths and halves. We need to find a common unit. So in this case, 5 and 2 could both have become denominators of 10. So in order to do that for the 5, we just need to multiply that by 2, and that will give us 8 tenths. And then for the 1/2, we'll need to multiply that by 5, and that will give us 5 tenths. So here's the problem with that. If we have 8 plus 5 is 13, so we have 13 tenths. That means that our answer is going to be greater than 1. So let's take a look at what that looks like. If you take a look at our squares here, we have put 13 tenths and shaded it all in. So we have 1 whole shaded, and then we have 3 tenths shaded. So when you simplify, you change this 13 tenths into a mixed number. What it's saying is we have 1 whole shaded, we've got 3 left over, and 3 tenths left over. So our answer is 1 and 3 tenths. Now we're going to solve 2/3 plus 3/5. First thing we did is we drew our models and we shaded each fraction. Don't forget we're doing 2/3, so 2 of the boxes are shaded, and we're doing 3/5, so 3 of those are shaded. 3 parts are shaded. So now we need to figure out how we can get the same number of units so that we can add the numbers. I'm noticing that I've got 1 broken into thirds, 1 broken into fifths, and if we multiply each number somehow, we can both end up at 15 units. So let's go ahead and do that. For the model with the thirds, we can go ahead and multiply that by 5, and that will give us 15 units. And then the amount shaded is 2 times 5, so 10 15ths is shaded. And then for this model, 3/5, we can multiply the fifths times 3 and also get 15 units. Then we take a look at how many are shaded. That's 9 15ths. And then we add, and that will give us 19 15ths. Notice our answer is more than 1. We can get 1 whole out of this answer. What is 1 whole? 1 whole in this case would be 15 15ths. And then we need to think, if we have 15 15ths, how many do we have left? Well, we've got 4 15ths left. We know that 15 15ths is equivalent to 1, and then if we add our 4 15ths, then we get 1 and 4 15ths as our final answer. For this problem, we're going to go through the same process. We want to add 3/8 plus 2/3, but we can't add unlike units. So we need to multiply each fraction to get the same number of units. In this model, we've got it split into eighths, and here we've got it split into thirds. We need to decide what number of units we can multiply both of these numbers into to create equal amount of units in both models. 24 sounds like a good number. Both 8 and 3 are multiples of 24, so let's go ahead and do that. For the first model, we can multiply the eighths by 3. There we go. Multiply the eighths by 3, and then that will give us 3, 6, 9 24ths. And then for our units of thirds, we can multiply that by 8. And then that will give us, let me finish drawing it here, that will give us 8 times 2 is 16 24ths. Add them together, that gives us 25 24ths. So looking at 25 24ths, we know that that answer is more than 1 because 1 would be 24 24ths. So if we have 24 24ths, we know that's equivalent to 1. And what do we have left? We've got that 1 24th left. If we add that down below here, that leaves us with our mixed number of 1 and 1 24th. Okay, so now I want to give you guys a couple of minutes to go ahead and try a problem on your own. I need you to find common units and draw models for your problem. So I'm going to go ahead and give you 6 sevenths plus 2 fourths. Go ahead and pause right now. Solve, and then come back when you're finished. All right, now that you've completed it, let's go ahead and check. So for your models, you should have shown 6 sevenths, and you should have also shown 2 fourths. Then we want to think about a common number that both 7 and 4 are multiples of. So we can go ahead and make it units of 28ths. So for the sevenths, we're going to need to multiply that by 4 in order to make it 28ths. So you should have divided yours up into fourths. And then that will give us 4 times 6, so 24 28ths. And then for our fourths, we're going to need to multiply that by 7 so that we get 28. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that will give us 7 times 2 is 14 28ths. And then when we add those together, that will give us 38 28ths. Next thing we need to do is turn that into a mixed number. So first thing we need to look at is 38/28. How many times can 28 go into 38? Well, we can get one whole out of that. And then what do we have left? We've got 10 left, 10/28 left, and that will be our final answer, 1 and 10/28. Okay, so that was it for lesson 4, module 3. Hope you guys are understanding a little bit more about adding fractions that end up with sums greater than 1. You're on your own. Go ahead and work on that problem set. Make sure to ask questions if you need to. Talk with partners, figure it out. Be good, have a great day, and I will see you soon.